Hello everybody, this is an audio lecture for visually impaired students, and in this audio lecture I am going to read the chapter Ketones and Aldehydes from the book Organic Chemistry by L.G. Wade, 8th edition. So firstly here we read about carbonyl compounds. We will read this paragraph regarding the carbonyl compounds. So, we will study compounds containing carbonyl group, that is C double bond O, in detail because they are central importance to organic chemistry, biochemistry and biology. Some of the common types of carbonyl compounds are listed in table 8-1. Carbonyl compounds are everywhere. In addition to their uses as a reagent and solvent, they are constituent of fabric, flavorings, plastics and drugs. Naturally occurring ring carbonyl compounds include proteins, carbohydrates and nucleic acids that make up all plants and animals. In next few chapters we will discuss the properties and the reactions of simple carbonyl compounds. Then in chapter 23 and 24 we apply this carbonyl chemistry to carbohydrates, nucleic acids and proteins. So there is table 8-1 in which some common classes of carbonyl compounds are given here. So I am going to read one by one from this table. First class of carbonyl compound is ketones. The general formula of ketone is R single bond carbon, that is C, and double bond oxygen, then single bond R dash. Another class of carbonyl compound is carboxylic acid, that is R C double bond oxygen and single bond OH. Similarly, another class of carbonyl compound is esters, that is R single bond C double bond oxygen OR dash, and another is aldehyde. The general formula of aldehyde is RC double bond O single bond H. Acid chlorides RC double bond O single bond Cl, and the last one is amides, that is RC double bond oxygen single bond NH2. The simplest carbonyl compounds are ketones, and aldehyde has two alkyl or aryl groups bonded to the carbonyl carbon atom. An aldehyde has one alkyl or aryl group and one hydrogen atom bonded to the carbonyl carbon atom. Formaldehyde is the simplest aldehyde with two hydrogen atom bonded to the carbonyl group. Ketones and aldehyde are similar in structure and they have similar properties. There are some differences, however, they particularly in their reactions with oxidizing agents with nucleophiles. In most cases, aldehydes are most reactive than ketones for reasons we will discuss shortly. So here in this next slide I am going to read the structure of carbonyl group, and in this structure of carbonyl group I am going to read complete paragraph regarding the structure of carbonyl group. So we will start the topic. The carbonyl carbon atom is sp2 hybridized and bonded to the three other atoms through coplanar sigma bond oriented to 120 degree apart. The unhybridized p orbital overlaps with p orbital of oxygen to form a pi bond. The double bond between carbon and oxygen is similar to an alkene, that is C double bond C, except that carbonyl double bond is shorter, stronger and polarized. So in this slide there is some practical data are given over here regarding the bond length and bond energy of carbonyl, that is ketone or an alkene. So the bond length of ketone bond, that is C double bond O bond, is 1.23 angstrom, but the alkene has bond length is 1.34 angstrom. Similarly, the bond energy of the ketonic bond is 745 kilojoule per mole, and if we want to say this in kilocalorie then it will said as 178 kilocalorie per mole. And similarly for alkene the value of bond energy is 611 kilojoule, that is 611 kilojoule per mole, or we can say 146 kilocalorie per mole. So as we read in above section, We already read that carbonyl bonds are shorter, stronger, and more polarized. So this fact is also cleared by this practical data. The double bond of carbonyl group has larger dipole moment because oxygen is more electronegative than carbon and the bonding electrons are not shared equally. In particularly, the less tightly held pi electrons are pulled more strongly and towards the oxygen atom, giving ketones and aldehydes larger dipole moment than most alkyl halides and ethers. We can use resonance form to symbolize this unequal sharing of pi electrons. The first resonance form is more important because it involves a more bonds and less charge separation. The contribution of second structure is evidenced by the large dipole moments of ketones and aldehydes shown here. So in this slide there are some dipole moment of aldehydes and ketones are given over here. First is acetaldehyde which has dipole moment is 2.7 dBi and the acetone has 2.9 dBi, which is compared with chloromethane which has dipole moment is 1.9 dBi and dimethyl ether is mu is equal to 1.30 dBi. This polarization of carbonyl group contributes to the reactivity of ketone and aldehydes. The positively polarized carbon atom acts as an electrophile, that is Lewis acid, and the negatively polarized oxygen acts as nucleophile, that is Lewis base. Now we will going to read nomenclature of ketones and aldehydes, IUPAC names. Systematic names of ketones are derived by replacing the final letter E in the alkane name with ONE on. The alkane name become alkanone. In open chain ketones we number the longest chain that includes the carbonyl carbon from the end closest to the carbonyl group and we indicate the position of carbonyl group by a number. In cyclic ketones, the carbonyl carbon atom is assigned the number 1. So there are some examples given here regarding the IUPAC names of ketones. So the first example is butane 2-on. There are so many examples given over here, and second example is 2,4-dimethyl pentane 3-on. Another is 1-phenyl propane 1-on, and other is 3-methyl cyclopentane 1-on, and another is cyclohex 2-ene 1-on, and our last example is 4-hydroxy 4-methyl pentane 2-on. Systematic names for aldehydes are derived by replacing the final letter E of alkane with Al. An aldehyde carbon is at end of the chain, so it is number 1. If aldehyde group is a substituent of large unit, usually a ring, the suffix is carbaldehyde used. So there are some examples given in this slide regarding the IUPAC names of aldehyde. So the first example is ethanol, another example is 4-bromo-3-methyl-heptanol, third example is 3-hydroxybutanol, and fourth example is pent-2-enol or we can say 2-pentenol, and fifth example is cyclohexane carbaldehyde, and our sixth or last example is 2-hydroxycyclopentane 1-carbaldehyde. A ketone or aldehyde can also be named as a substituent on molecule with higher priority functional group as its root. A ketone or aldehyde carbonyl is named by the prefix oxo if it is included as the part of longest chain in the root name. When an aldehyde CHO group is a substituent and not a part of longest chain, it is named by the prefix formyl. Carboxylic acids frequently contain ketone or aldehyde groups named as substituents. So there are some examples given over here. First example is 3-oxopentanol. Another example is 2-formyl benzoic acid. And our third example is 3,4-dioxobutanoic acid. Common names. As with other class of compounds, Ketone and aldehydes are often called by their common name instead of their systematic names. Ketone common names are formed by naming the two alkyl groups bonded to the carbonyl group. Substituent locations are given using Greek letters beginning with the carbon next to the carbonyl group. So there are some examples. First example is methyl ethyl ketone. Second example is di-secondary butyl ketone, and third example is beta bromo ethyl isopropyl ketone, and fourth example is tertiary butyl alpha methoxypropyl ketone. Some ketones have historic common names. Dimethyl ketone is always called as acetone, and alkyl phenyl ketones are usually named as acyl group followed by suffix phenone. So there are some examples given over here. First example is acetone, another example is acetophenone, third example is propiophenone, and fourth example is benzophenone. Common names of aldehydes are derived from the common names of corresponding carboxylic acids, which is given in table 8-2. These names often reflect the Latin or Greek term of original source of the acid or the aldehyde. Greek letters are used with common names of aldehydes to give the location of substituents. So in this table there are some common names of acids and aldehydes given over here. First common name of carboxylic acid is formic acid, and aldehyde has formaldehyde. Their IUPAC name is methanoic acid and methanol. Another is acetic acid and acetaldehyde. The IUPAC name of acetic acid is ethanoic acid, and the IUPAC name of acetaldehyde is ethanol. Similarly, we have another example, propionic acid, which has IUPAC name propanoic acid, and from aldehyde series we have propionaldehyde, which has IUPAC name propanol. Butyric acid from carboxylic acid groups, and butyraldehyde from carbonyl, or we can say aldehyde groups. And last example is benzoic acid, and from aldehydes it is benzaldehyde. The first letter alpha is given to the carbon atom next to the carbonyl group, which is C2 in the IUPAC name. So there are some common names given over here, and IUPAC name also beta bromobutyraldehyde, and the IUPAC name is 3-bromobutanol. Another is alpha methoxypropionaldehyde, and IUPAC name is 2-methyl-methoxypropanol. Now the next topic is physical properties of ketones and aldehydes. Ketones and aldehydes. We are going to read the physical properties of these compounds. Polarization of carbonyl group creates the dipole-dipole attraction between the molecules of ketones and aldehydes, resulting in higher boiling points than of hydrocarbons and ethers of similar molecular weights. Ketones and aldehydes have no OH or NH bonds, however, so their molecule cannot form any kind of hydrogen bond with each other. Their boiling points are therefore lower than those of alcohols of similar molecular weight. The following compound of molecular weight 58 or 60 are ranked in order of increasing boiling points. The ketone and the aldehyde are more polar and higher boiling point than the ether and the alkane, but lower boiling point than the hydrogen bonded. So in this slide there are some examples given over here regarding the data boiling point. So if we compare the boiling point of butane and methoxyethane, so the boiling point of butane is 0 degrees Celsius and the methoxyethane is 8 degrees Celsius. And if we compare both this ether and hydrocarbon from an aldehyde group or from an aldehyde which is name is propanol. It has boiling point 49 degrees Celsius, and but propanol has less boiling point as compared to acetone, which has boiling point 56 degrees Celsius. But an alcohol is given over here, that is propane 1-ol, and it has the boiling point is 97 degrees Celsius. It has highest boiling point as compared to propanol and acetone, because this primary alcohol, or we can say alcohol, has hydrogen bonding, so it has more boiling point. The melting point, boiling points, and water solubilities of some representative ketones and aldehydes are given in table 8-3. Although pure ketones and aldehydes cannot engage in hydrogen bonding with each other, they have lone pair of electrons and can act as hydrogen bond acceptors with other compounds having OH or NH bonds. For example, OH hydrogen of water and alcohol can form hydrogen bond with unshared electrons on carbonyl oxygen atom. So in this picture here we can see that the hydrogen of water can form the H bond from the lone pair of oxygen of carbonyl group. Similarly, we can see in this picture that the oxygen of carbonyl group can form the hydrogen bond with the H of the alcohol molecule. So this is table 8-3, in which there are some practical and data are given of a different carbonyl compounds, or we can say different aldehydes and ketones. So there are so much data given over here, so I am going to skip this table. Now I am going to read this paragraph. So let's get started. Because of this hydrogen bonding, ketones and aldehydes are good solvent for polar hydroxylic substance such as alcohols. They are also relatively soluble in water. The table 8-3 shows that acetaldehyde and acetones are miscible, soluble in all proportionals with water. Other ketones and aldehyde with up to 4 carbon atom are fairly soluble in water. These solubility properties are similar to those of ethers and alcohol, which also engage in hydrogen bonding with water. Formaldehyde and acetaldehyde are the most common aldehydes. Formaldehyde is a gas at room temperature, so it is often stored and used as a 40% aqueous solution called formalin. When dry formaldehyde is needed, it can be generated by heating one of its solid derivative, usually trioxane or paraformaldehyde. Trioxane is an cyclic trimer containing 3 formaldehyde units. Paraformaldehyde is a linear polymer contain many formaldehyde units. These solid derivatives form spontaneously when a small amount of acid catalyst is added to pure formaldehyde. So in this slide there is a structure of trioxane or paraformaldehyde is given over here. When we heated both these compounds, then we can get the unit of formaldehyde, and after adding water in it, we can prepare the 40% solution of formaldehyde, that is called as formalin. Acetaldehyde boils near at room temperature and it can be handled as liquid. Acetaldehyde is also used as trimer, that is paraaldehyde and tetramer metaldehyde, formed from acetaldehyde under acid catalysis. Heating either of these compounds provides dry acetaldehyde. Paraaldehyde is used in medicines as sedatives, and metaldehyde used as bait and poison for snails and slugs. So in this slide there are both the structures of metaldehyde and paraaldehyde given over here. Paraaldehyde is called as a trimer of acetaldehyde and metaldehyde is said as a tetramer of acetaldehyde. The boiling point of paraldehyde is 125 degrees C, and the melting point of the metaldehyde is 240 degrees Celsius. When we heat both the compounds, we can get the dry acetaldehyde, or we can get the molecule of acetaldehyde. Now the next topic of this chapter is spectroscopy of ketones and aldehyde. So, infrared spectra of ketones and aldehydes. The carbonyl, that is C double bond O, stretching vibrations of simple ketones occur at around 1710 centimeter inverse, and simple aldehydes around 1725 centimeter inverse, because carbonyl group has a larger dipole moment and these absorptions are very strong. In addition to carbonyl absorption, an aldehyde shows a set of two low frequency CH stretching absorptions around 2710 and 2810 centimeter inverse. Figure 1211 compares the IR spectra of simple ketone and aldehyde. Conjugation lowers the carbonyl stretching frequencies of ketone and aldehyde because the partial pi bonding character of single bond between the conjugated double bonds reduces the electron density of the carbonyl pi bond. The stretching frequency of this weakened carbonyl group is lowered to about 1685 centimeter inverse. Ring strain has opposite effect, raising the carbonyl stretching frequency in ketone with 3, 4 and 5 membered rings. So there are some examples given over here in this slide. First example is acetophenone, and the stretching frequency of acetophenone is 1685 centimeter inverse. Another is butylenol, and it has stretching frequency 1690 centimeter. And another, we have a cyclic ketone, that is cyclopentanone, and it has stretching frequency 1745 centimeter inverse. And another is cyclopropanone, smallest cyclic ketone, which has a stretching frequency is 1815 centimeter inverse. Now we will read the proton NMR spectra of ketones and aldehyde. When considering the proton NMR spectra of ketones and aldehyde, we interested primarily in the proton bonded to the carbonyl group aldehyde protons and the proton bonded to the adjacent carbon atom, that is the alpha carbon atom. Aldehyde protons normally appeared at chemical shifts, that is delta 9 and delta 10. The aldehyde protons absorptions may be split J is equal to 1 to 5 Hz if there are protons on the alpha carbon atom. Protons on the alpha carbon atom of a ketone or aldehyde usually appear at chemical shift between delta 2.1 and delta 2.4 if there are no other electron withdrawing groups nearby. Methyl ketones are characterized by singlet at about delta 2.1. Figure 8.1 shows the proton NMR spectrum of butanol, and the aldehyde proton appears at delta 9.7 split by protons on alpha carbon atom with a small j is equals to 1 Hz. Coupling constant, J is the coupling constant given over here, that is 1 Hz. The alpha proton appears at delta 2.4 and the beta and the gamma protons appear at increasing magnetic fields as they located further from the de-shielding effect of the carbonyl group. So in this proton NMR spectra, the complete data are given in this spectral series. So our next topic is carbon NMR spectra of aldehydes and ketones. The carbonyl carbon atom of aldehyde and ketones have chemical shifts around 200 ppm in the carbon NMR spectrum because they have no hydrogen attached. Ketone carbonyl carbon atom usually give weaker absorptions than aldehyde. Then alpha carbon atom usually absorb at chemical shift of about 3 to 40 ppm. Figure 8-2 shows the spin decoupled carbon NMR spectrum of heptane 2 on in which the carbonyl carbon absorbs at 208 ppm and the alpha carbon atom absorbs at 30 ppm, that is methyl, and 44 ppm, that is methylene. So this is spectral arrangement, or we can say spectral data is given over here, that is figure 8-2. You can clearly see in this slide. So there are some spectral patterns are given over here at different values. Now we will read the mass spectra of ketones and aldehyde. In mass spectrometer, a ketone or aldehyde may lose an alkyl group to give a resonance stabilized acylium ion, like acylium ion that serves as electrophile in Fiedel-Crafts reactions. So in this slide there is acylium ion is given over here. So our next topic is figure 8. So our next topic is McLafferty rearrangement of ketones and aldehyde. The mass spectrum of butyraldehyde, that is shown in figure 8-4, shows the peaks we expect at M by Z 72 molecular ion and M by Z 57 loss of methylene group and M by Z 29 loss of propyl group. The peak at M by Z 57 is from cleavage between beta and gamma carbons to give resonance stabilized carbocation. This is also called common fragmentations with carbonyl compound. Like the other odd number the peak, it results from loss of a radical. So in this figure 8-4, McLafferty rearrangement in carbonyl compounds are given over here with the spectral data. So we are going to read this slide over here. The base peak is at M by Z 44 from loss of fragment of mass 28. Loss of fragment with an even mass number corresponds to a loss of stable neutral molecule, as when water mass is 18 is lost from an alcohol. A fragment of mass of 28 corresponds to the molecular of ethylene, that is C2H4. This fragment is lost through the process called McLafferty rearrangement, involving an cyclic intramolecular transfer of a hydrogen atom from the gamma carbon to the carbonyl oxygen, that is shown in figure 8-5. So this is our figure 8-5, and here McLafferty rearrangement of butyraldehyde is given over here. Now we will talk about the ultraviolet spectra of ketones and aldehyde. The pi to pi star transition. The strongest absorptions in the ultraviolet spectra of aldehydes and ketones are ones resulting from pi to pi star electronic transitions, as with alkenes. These absorptions are absorbed when the lambda max is greater than 200 nanometer. Only if carbonyl double bond is conjugated with another double bond. The simplest conjugated carbonyl system is propionyl, shown next. The pi to pi star transition of propionyl occurs at lambda max of 210 nanometer, that is epsilon, that is equal to 11,000. Alkyl substitution increases the value of lambda max by about 10 nanometer per alkyl group. An additional conjugated double bond increases the value of lambda max by about 30 nanometer. Notice the large value of molar absorptivities similar to the observed for pi to pi star transitions of conjugated dienes. Another transition is N to pi star transition. A very weak band of absorptions in ultraviolet spectra of ketones and aldehyde results from promotion one of the non-bonding electrons on oxygen to pi star anti-bonding orbital. This transition involves a smaller amount of energy than pi to pi star transition, so it gives a low frequency, longer wavelength absorptions. The N to pi star transitions of simple unconjugated ketone and aldehyde give absorptions with value of lambda max between 280 and 300 nanometer. Each double bond added in conjugation with carbonyl group increases the value of lambda max by about 30 nanometer. For example, N to pi star transition of acetone occurs at lambda max of 280 nanometer. The N to pi star transitions of carbonyl group have small molar absorptivities, generally about 10 to 200. These absorptions are around 1000 times weaker than the pi to pi star transitions. So in this figure 8-6 comparison of pi to pi star transition and N to pi star transitions. The N to pi star transitions requires less energy because non-bonding N electrons are higher in energy than the bonding pi electrons. So in this figure we are clearly given that forbidden gap, or we can say energy, is more, or we can say higher energy than bonding pi electrons. Transitions, because the N to pi star transition corresponds to a forbidden electronic transition with low probability of occurrence. The non-bonding orbitals on oxygens are perpendicular to the pi star anti-bonding orbitals, and there is zero overlap between these orbitals. The forbidden transitions occur occasionally but much less frequently than the allowed pi to pi star transition. Now we will discuss about the industrial importance of ketones and aldehydes. In the chemical industry, ketones and aldehydes are used as solvents, starting materials and reagent for synthesis of other products. Although formaldehyde is well known as the formalin solution used to preserve biological specimens, most of the 4 billion kg of formaldehyde produced each year is used to make bakelite, phenol formaldehyde resin, urea formaldehyde glues, and other polymeric products. Acetaldehyde is used primarily as a starting material in the manufacture of acetic acid polymers and drugs. Acetone is the most important commercial ketone with over 3 billion kilograms used each year. Both acetone and methyl ethyl ketone, that is butane 2-one, are common industrial solvents. These ketone dissolves a wide range of organic materials, have convenient boiling points for easy distillations, and have low toxicities. Many other ketones and aldehydes are used as flavorings and additives to food, drugs, and other products. For example, benzaldehyde is the primary component of almond extract, and Carvon gives spearmint chewing gum its minty flavor. Table 8-4 lists some simple ketones and aldehyde with well-known odor and flavors. Pyrethrin isolated from Pyrethrum flowers is commercially extracted for use as a natural insecticide. Natural or not, pyrethrin can cause severe allergic reactions, nausea, vomiting, and other toxic effects in animals. So this is the table 8-4 in which ketones and aldehydes are given for the according to their household products, which are used in our household products. So first is butyraldehyde. Its odor is buttery, uses margarine and foods. Second compound is vanillin, and its odor is vanilla and uses foods and perfumes. Next compound is acetophenone. Its odor is pistachio and ice cream. And another compound is trans-cinnamaldehyde. Its odor cinnamon and use in candies, foods, drugs, etc. Another compound is camphor. Odor is camphorous, uses liniments and inhalants. Another is pyrethrin. Odor floral, uses plant insecticide. Next compound is carvone. Its odor is spearmint and caraway seeds and uses candy, toothpaste, etc. Another is muscone with odor musky aroma and used in perfumes. Next, we will read the review of synthesis of ketones and aldehydes. In studying reactions of other functional groups, we have already encountered some of the best methods for making ketones and aldehydes. Let's review and summarize these reactions and then consider some additional synthetic methods. A summary table of synthesis of ketones and aldehydes begin on page 837. Now we will read the ketones and aldehydes from oxidation of alcohols. Ketones and aldehydes are often made by oxidizing alcohols. When we need to make a carbonyl compound, we can often use a Grignard reagent to synthesize an alcohol with correct structure and oxidize it to the final product, secondary alcohols converted into ketone. If we have an aldehyde, when we react it with Grignard reagent, then it will form secondary alcohol, and when this secondary alcohol is oxidized, it will give ketone. Sodium dichromate in sulfuric acid, which form chromic acid, that is H2CrO4, is the traditional laboratory reagent for oxidizing secondary alcohols to ketone. Bleach, that is NaOCl, sodium oxychloride, is an inexpensive chromium-free alternative that also oxidizes secondary alcohol to ketones. Primary alcohols are usually over-oxidized to carboxylic acids under these conditions. So there is an aldehyde given over here. When we reacted with Grignard reagent, it converted into secondary alcohol, and when we use H2CrO4, that is chromic acid, and NaOCl, sodium oxychloride, then it will convert it into ketone. Primary alcohols converted into aldehydes. Oxidation of primary alcohol to an aldehyde requires careful selection of an oxidizing agent to avoid over-oxidation to the carboxylic acid. Pyridinium chlorochromate, that is PCC, a complex of chromium trioxide with pyridine and HCl, provides good yields of aldehyde without over-oxidation. Either the Swern oxidation using DMSO as an oxidant or Des-Martin propydenine DMP oxidation using a high valence iodine compound as an oxidant can oxidize primary alcohols to aldehydes without using any kind of hazardous chromium compounds. These specialized reagents are covered in section 11-3. So there is some example given here, that is cyclohexyl methanol. When we use PCC or Swern oxidation or DMP oxidation, then we get the product cyclohexane carbaldehyde. Means the primary alcohol present in cyclohexyl methanol converted into CHO, that is carbaldehyde, with 90% yield. Next topic is ketones and aldehydes from ozonolysis of alkene. Ozonolysis followed by mild reduction cleaves alkene to give ketones and aldehyde. Ozonolysis is a useful as synthetic method or as an analytical technique. Yields are generally good. There is an example given over here, that is 1-methyl cyclohexene. When we do ozonolysis of this alkene, it undergoes ozonolysis and gives 6-oxoheptanol with 65% yield. Phenyl ketones and aldehydes. Friedel-Crafts acylation. Friedel-Crafts acylation is an excellent method for making an alkyl aryl or diaryl ketone. It cannot be used, however, on strongly deactivated aromatic system. So there is a group of reaction given over here in which RCOCl, that is acid halide, is condensed with the benzene molecule in the presence of Lewis acid AlCl3, then it gives two products, ortho and para directing products over here. If we have para-nitrobenzoyl chloride and we use benzene in the presence of AlCl3, then after the Friedel-Crafts reaction, the product is para-nitrobenzophenone with yield 90%. The Gattermann-Koch synthesis is an variant of Friedel-Crafts acylation in which carbon monoxide and HCl generate an intermediate that reacts like formyl chloride like Friedel-Crafts reactions. The Gattermann-Koch formylation succeeds only with benzene and activated benzene derivatives. For example, if we have toluene and we reacted with CO/HCl in the presence of Lewis acid AlCl3 with CuCl, then the product is para-methylbenzaldehyde is the measure with 50% yield. Next topic is ketone and aldehyde from hydration of alkynes. Catalyzed by acid and mercuric salts, hydration of terminal alkyne is convenient way of making methyl ketones. This reaction is catalyzed by combination of sulfuric acid and mercuric ion. The initial product of Markovnikov hydration is an enol which quickly tautomerizes into its keto form. Internal alkyne can be hydrated, but mixture of ketones often result. So there is an example given over here, that is ethynyl cyclohexane. When we treat this alkyne with H2SO4 in the presence of mercuric salt, then it undergoes hydrolysis, and firstly it will convert it into its enol form, then in furtherly this enol tautomerized and gives cyclohexyl methyl ketone with 90% yield. Next reaction is hydroboration oxidation of alkynes. Hydroboration oxidation of alkyne gives anti-Markovnikov addition of water across the triple bond. Di-secondary isoamyl borane called dicyamyl borane is used. Since this bulky borane cannot add twice across the triple bond, on oxidation of borane, the unstable enol quickly tautomerizes to an aldehyde. So there is an alkyne given over here in which the dicyamyl borane is used. Firstly it will convert it into enol, then further it will convert it into aldehyde. So there is an example given over here. So the example is ethynyl cyclohexane. When we use the reagent, or we can say hydroboration oxidation on this alkyne, then our cyclohexylethanol with 65% yield is obtained over here. In the following section, we consider additional synthesis of ketones and aldehydes that we cannot covered before. This synthesis form ketones and aldehyde from carboxylic acids, nitriles, acid chlorides and alkyl halides. Synthesis of ketones from carboxylic acid. Organolithium reagents can be used to synthesize ketones from carboxylic acid. Organolithiums are so reactive towards carbonyls that they attack the lithium salts of carboxylate anion to give dianions. Protonation of dianion forms the hydrate of ketone, which quickly loses water to give ketone. If the organolithium reagent is inexpensive, we can simply add two equivalents to the carboxylic acid. The first equivalent generates the carboxylate salt and the second attacks the carbonyl group. Subsequent protonation gives the ketone. So there is an example given over here, that is cyclohexane carboxylic acid. We add two equivalent of phenyl lithium in it. Firstly it converted into its dianion, and on hydrolysis it gives hydrate. And further, as we know that two OH groups are not stable at 1 carbon, so the removal of water is take place over here and the product is cyclohexyl phenyl ketone. Next topic is synthesis of ketones and aldehydes from nitriles. Nitriles can also be used as a starting material for synthesis of ketone, discussed in chapter 121. Nitriles are compounds containing the cyano, that is C triple bond N functional group. Since the nitrogen is more electronegative than carbon, the C triple bond N triple bond is polarized like the CO bond of the carbonyl group. Nucleophiles can add to C triple bond N triple bond by attacking the electrophilic carbon atom. A Grignard or organolithium reagent attacks a nitrile to give the magnesium salt of imine. Acidic hydrolysis of imines leads to the ketone. The mechanism of this acid hydrolysis is reverse of acid catalyzed imine formation, covered in section 18-15. Note the ketone is formed during the hydrolysis after any excess Grignard reagent has been destroyed. Thus the ketone is not attacked. So there is an example given over here, that is benzonitrile. When it is treated with phenyl magnesium bromide, that is the Grignard reagent, then firstly it will convert it into benzophenone imine in magnesium salt. Then on hydrolysis it gives benzophenone with 80% yield. Aluminium hydrides can reduce nitriles to corresponding aldehydes. Diisobutyl aluminium hydride, abbreviated as dibal H, is commonly used for the reduction of nitriles. The initial reaction forms an aluminium complex that hydrolyzes in aqueous workup. So there is an example given over here, that is Hex 4-enonitrile. On treated with dibal H followed by hydrolysis, it gives Hex 4-enol. Next is synthesis of aldehyde and ketones from acid, chloride and esters. Because aldehydes are easily oxidized to acids, one might wonder whether acids are easily reduced back to aldehydes. Aldehydes tends to be more reactive than acids. However, and reducing agents that are strong enough to reduce acid also reduce aldehydes even faster. Acid can be reduced to aldehydes by first converting them to the functional group that is easier to reduce than the aldehyde. The acid chlorides, acyl chlorides, are reactive derivatives of carboxylic acid in which acidic hydroxyl group is replaced by chlorine atom. The acid chlorides are often synthesized by the treatment of carboxylic acid with thionyl chloride, that is SOCl2. Strong reducing agents like LiAlH4, that is lithium aluminium hydride, reduce acid chlorides all way to primary alcohol. Lithium tertiary butoxyl aluminium hydride is a milder reducing agent that reacts faster with acid chlorides than with aldehydes. Reduction of acid chlorides with lithium tri-tertiary butoxy aluminium hydrate gives good yields of aldehyde. So there is an example, that is isovaleric acid. It is an acid of carboxylic acid. When it is treated with SOCl2, that is thionyl chloride, it gives isovaleroyl chloride. And on treatment of this acid chloride compound with lithium tri-tertiary butoxy aluminium hydride, it gives isovaleraldehyde, that is 65% yield. Diisobutyl aluminium hydride, that is dibal H, reduces esters directly to the aldehydes at dry ice temperature about -78 degrees Celsius. Unlike LiLH4, that is lithium aluminium hydride, which reduces esters to primary alcohols, cold dibal H usually does not reduce aldehyde further. The initial reaction forms an aluminium complex that is stable towards further reduction, but hydrolyzes to form aldehyde in aqueous workup. So there is an example, that is ethyl cyclopentane carboxylate, and on treatment with dibal H at -78 degrees Celsius, Under protic workup, it gives cyclopentane carbaldehyde. Synthesis of ketone. Grignard and organolithium reagents react with acid chloride much like hydride reagents. They add R minus where a hydride reagent would add H minus. As we saw in section 10-9, Grignard and organolithium reagent add to acid chloride to give ketones, but they add again to ketone to give tertiary alcohols. To stop the ketone stage, a weaker organometallic reagent is needed that one react faster with acid chloride than with ketone. Lithium dialkyl cuprate and other organocuprates react with acid chloride to give good yields of wide variety of ketone. So there is an example, or we can say reaction given over here, in which acid chlorides are treated with lithium dialkyl cuprate, that is Gilman's reagent, and on treatment with dialkyl lithium cuprate it gives ketone and alkyl copper, and byproduct is LiCl. The lithium dialkyl cuprate is formed by the reaction of two equivalents of corresponding organolithium reagent with cuprous iodide. Example. So there is an example given over here in which we have an acid, in which we have two equivalents of alkyl halide, and on treatment it with lithium in the presence of cuprous iodide it gives our Gilman's reagent, and when this Gilman's reagent is treated with acid chloride it gives 80% yield of ketones. So this is the summary, or we can say summary for the synthesis of ketones and aldehyde, in which first is oxidation of alcohol, in which secondary alcohols converted into ketones and primary alcohols converted into aldehydes. Second section is ozonolysis of alkene, and we already discussed all the sections. Another section is Friedel-Crafts acylation, in which all the reactions are read in our previous video. Now we will read the reaction of ketones and aldehydes. That introduction to nucleophilic addition. Ketones and aldehydes undergo many reactions to give wide variety of useful derivatives. Their most common reaction is nucleophilic addition. Addition of nucleophile and proton across the CO bond, that is C double bond. The reactivity of carbonyl group arises from the electronegativity of oxygen atom and resulting polarization of carbon-oxygen double bond. The electrophilic carbonyl carbon atom is sp2 hybridized and flat, leaving it relatively unhindered and open to attack from either face of the double bond. As a nucleophile attacks the carbonyl group, the carbon atom changes hybridization from sp2 to sp3. The electrons of pi bond are forced out to the oxygen atom to form an alkoxide anion which protonates to give the product of nucleophilic addition. We have seen at least two examples of nucleophilic addition to ketone and aldehydes. A Grignard reagent, a strong nucleophile resembling the carb anion R negative, attacks the electrophilic carbonyl carbon atom to give an alkoxide intermediate. Subsequent protonation gives an alcohol. So there is an example given over here, that is acetone is treated with ethyl magnesium bromide, that is the Grignard reagent, and on treatment with acetone with ethyl magnesium bromide it gives an alkoxide, means the compound of magnesium salt basically. Then on hydrolysis it gives 2-methyl butane 2-ol. Hydride reduction of ketone or aldehyde is another example of nucleophilic addition with hydride ion serving as the nucleophile. Attacking by hydride gives an alkoxide that protonates to form an alcohol. Similarly, we have acetone and we react it with sodium borohydride. Firstly, it will converted into an alkoxide, and from solvent, that is ethanol, it take H plus ions and converted into propane 2-ol. Weak nucleophiles such as water and alcohols can add to active carbonyl groups under acidic condition. A carbonyl group is weaker base and it becomes protonated in acidic solution. A carbonyl group that protonated or bonding to some other electrophile is strongly electrophilic, inviting attack by a weak nucleophile. So in this reaction slide we can clearly see that carbonyl group is protonated under acidic condition, and due to this acidic condition the electrophilicity of carbonyl carbon, or we can say carbonyl carbon, is increases because the protonated oxygen is more electronegative, and more electronegative attracts the electron density more effectively from the carbonyl carbon atom, so its electrophilicity increases. The following reaction is the acid catalyzed nucleophilic addition reaction of water across the carbonyl group of acetone. This hydration of ketone or aldehyde is discussed in section 18-13. In effect, the base catalyzed addition to carbonyl group results from nucleophilic attack of strong nucleophile followed by protonation. Acid catalyzed addition begins with protonation followed by the attack of weaker nucleophile. Many additions are reversible with the position of equilibrium depending on the relative stabilities of the reactant and product. In most cases, aldehydes are more reactive than ketone towards the nucleophilic additions. They usually react more quickly than ketones, and the position of equilibrium usually lies more towards the product than with ketone. The enhanced reactivity of aldehydes is due to the electronic effect and a steric effect. Notice that an aldehyde has only one electron donating alkyl group, making the aldehyde carbonyl group slightly more electron poor and electrophilic. The electronic effect. Also, an aldehyde has only one bulky alkyl group compared with two in a ketone, leaving the carbonyl group is more exposed towards the nucleophilic attack. Especially with bulky nucleophile, the product of attack on aldehyde is less hindered than the product from the ketone, the steric effect. So in this slide there is an example, or we can say the reaction is given over here, that is ketone and aldehyde. As we see in the structure that ketone has two alkyl groups which has a more donating effect, so it will provide plus I effect, and due to the plus I effect the intensity of positive charge on carbonyl carbon atom decreases, so the center is less electrophilic as compared to the aldehyde. Next reaction is Wittig reaction. We have seen the carbonyl group undergo addition by variety of carbanion like reagents including Grignard reagents, organolithium reagents and acetylide ions. In 1954, George Wittig discovered a way of adding a phosphorus stabilized carbanion to a ketone or aldehyde. The product is not an alcohol, however, because the intermediate undergoes elimination to alkene. In effect, the Wittig reaction converts the carbonyl group of a ketone or an aldehyde into a new C double bond C where no bond existed before. This reaction proved so useful that Wittig received the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1979 for this discovery. So there is Wittig reaction in which we use our carbonyl compound, that is aldehyde or ketone, with phosphorus halide. Then on reacting with phosphorus halide, it gives alkene and PH3 P double bond O. The phosphorus stabilized carbanion is an halide, pronounced halide, a molecule that bears no overall charge but has a negatively charged carbon atom bonded to a positively charged heteroatom. Phosphorus ylides are prepared from triphenylphosphine and alkyl halide in two-step process. The first step is nucleophilic attack by triphenylphosphine on unhindered, usually primary alkyl halide. The product is an alkyl triphenylphosphonium salt. The phosphonium salt is treated with a strong base, usually butyl lithium, to abstract a proton from the carbon atom bonded to the phosphorus. So here the mechanism is given over here, that is triphenylphosphine is attack on alkyl halide, and on reaction between them the phosphonium salt is formed, and when butyl lithium is treated with this phosphonium salt, our phosphonium alide is formed, phosphorus alide is formed. And when this phosphorus alide reacts with our aldehydes and ketone, it gives alkene. The phosphorus alide has two resonance forms, one with double bond between carbon and phosphorus and another with charges on carbon and phosphorus. The double bonded resonance form requires 10 electrons in the valence shell of phosphorus using a d orbital. The pi bond between carbon and phosphorus is weak and charged structure is the major contributor. The carbon atom actually bears the partial negative charge balanced by the corresponding positive charge on phosphorus because of its carbanionic character. The alide carbon atom is strongly nucleophilic. It attacks a carbonyl group to give a charge separated intermediate called betaine, pronounced between. Between is an usually compound because it contains a negatively charged oxygen and a positively charged phosphorus on adjacent carbon atom. Phosphorus and oxygen form strong bonds, and the attraction of opposite charges promotes the fast formation of four-membered oxophosphetane ring. In some cases, oxophosphetane may be formed directly by cycloaddition rather than via a betaine. The four-membered ring quickly collapses to give alkene and triphenylphosphine oxide. Triphenylphosphine oxide is exceptionally stable, and conversion of triphenylphosphine to triphenylphosphine oxide provides the driving force for the Wittig reaction. So there is an mechanism of Wittig reaction in which phosphorus alide is react with ketone and aldehyde, and firstly it converted into a betaine. Then when this betaine undergo four-membered ring oxophosphetane, and this oxophosphetane ring collapsed and give our alkene and triphenyl phosphorus oxide. The following examples show the formation of carbon-carbon double bond using the Wittig reaction. The mixture of cis and trans isomer often result when geometrical isomerism is possible. So here are some examples given here regarding the Wittig reactions in which we use our carbonyl compound with phosphorus alide and our alkenes are formed over here. Planning a Wittig synthesis. A Wittig reaction is a valuable synthetic tool that converts a carbonyl group to carbon-carbon double bond. A wide variety of alkenes may be synthesized by Wittig reaction. To determine the necessary reagent, mentally divide the target molecule at the double bond and decide which of the two components should come from the carbonyl compound and which should come from the halide. In general, the halide should come from the unhindered alkyl halide. The triphenylphosphine is a bulky reagent and reacting best with unhindered primary and methyl halide. It occasionally reacts with unhindered secondary halides, but these reactions are very sluggish and often give poor yields. The following examples and solved problems show the planning for some Wittig reactions. Next is hydration of ketones and aldehydes. In aqueous solution, a ketone or an aldehyde is in equilibrium with its hydrate. A geminal diol with most ketones and equilibrium favors the anhydrate keto form of the carbonyl group. Example is acetone is hydrated, then it gives acetone hydrate. Hydration occurs through the nucleophilic addition mechanism shown in 18-3 with water or hydroxide ion serving as the nucleophile. Aldehydes are the more likely than ketones to form stable hydrates. The electrophilic carbon group of the ketone is stabilized by its 2 electron donating alkyl group, but the aldehyde carbonyl has only one stabilizing alkyl group. The partial positive charge of the aldehyde is not as well stabilized. Aldehydes are thus more electrophilic and less stable than ketone. Formaldehyde with no electron donating group is even less stable than other aldehydes. The stability effects apparent in equilibrium constants for hydration of ketones and aldehydes. Ketones have values of equilibrium constant of about 10 raised to power minus 4 to 10 raised to power minus 2. For most aldehydes, the equilibrium constant for hydration is close to 1. Formaldehyde with no alkyl group bonded to the carbonyl carbon has a hydration equilibrium constant of about 40. Strongly electron withdrawing substituents on the alkyl group of ketone or aldehyde also destabilize the carbonyl group and favor the hydrate. Chloral, that is trichloroacid aldehyde, has an electron withdrawing trichloromethyl group that favors the hydrate. Chloral forms a stable crystalline hydrate that become famous in the movies as Knockout Drops or Mickey Finn. Formation of cyanohydrines. Hydrogen cyanide, that is HCN, is an toxic water soluble liquid that boils at 26 degrees C. Because it is mildly acidic, HCN is sometimes called hydrocyanic acid. The conjugate base of hydrogen cyanide is cyanide ion. Cyanide ion is a strong base and strong nucleophile. It attacks ketone and aldehyde to give addition products that are called cyanohydrines. The mechanism is base catalyzed nucleophilic addition as shown in 18-4. Cyanide ion attacks the carbonyl group forming an alkoxide ion that protonates to give cyanohydrin. Cyanohydrins may be famous using liquid HCN with catalytical amount of sodium cyanide or potassium cyanide. HCN is highly toxic and volatile, however, and therefore dangerous to handle. Many procedures use a full equivalent of sodium or potassium cyanide rather than HCN dissolved in some other proton donating solvent. Cyanohydrins formation is reversible and the equilibrium constant may or may not favor the cyanohydrine. These equilibrium constants follow the general reactivity trend of aldehydes and ketones. Formaldehyde reacted very fast than other aldehydes and at last ketone. Formaldehyde reacts quickly and quantitatively with HCN. Most other aldehydes have equilibrium constant that favor cyanohydrine formation. Reaction of HCN with ketone have equilibrium constant that may favor either the ketone or cyanohydrines depending on structure. Ketones that are unhindered by large alkyl group react slowly with HCN and gives poor yield of cyanohydrines. So there is the mechanism of formation of cyanohydrin. First step is cyanide adds to carbonyl group and it forms the intermediate. Then after that protonation gives the cyanohydrin. Formation of benzaldehyde cyanohydride. So we have benzaldehyde and in first step the cyanide ion attacks on the CO group and forms an intermediate. And after the protonation of this intermediate it gives the benzaldehyde cyanohydrine, that is mandilonitrile. Similarly, if we have butane 2-on and we treat it with HCN in the presence of KCN, then our product is butane 2-on cyanohydrine with 95% yield is obtained over here. Similarly, if we have a ditert butyl ketone in the presence of KCN, it is treated with HCN. The reaction is very slow and poor yields, that is less than 5%. The failure with bulky ketones is largely due to the steric effect. Cyanohydrine formations involves rehybridizing the sp2 carbonyl carbon to sp3, narrowing the angle between alkyl groups from about 122 to about 109.5 degree, increasing their steric interference. Organic compound containing cyano group, that is C triple bond N, are called nitriles. A cyanohydrine is therefore an alpha hydroxynitrile. Nitrile hydrolyzed to carboxylic acid under acidic conditions. So cyanohydrine hydrolyzed to alpha hydroxy acid. This is the most convenient method for making many alpha hydroxy acids. So there is an example given over here in which the aldehyde is treated with hydrogen cyanide and it gives our cyanohydrine, and on hydrolysis it gives alpha hydroxy acids. Our next topic is formation of imines. Under the proper conditions, either ammonia or a primary amine reacts with ketone or an aldehyde to form an imine. Imines are the nitrogen analogues of ketone and aldehydes with a carbon-nitrogen double bond in place of carbonyl group. Imines are commonly involved as synthetic intermediates both in biosynthesis and in industrial synthesis. One of the best method of making amines both in organisms and in the lab involves making an imine, then reducing it to amine. Like amine, imines are basic. A substituent imine is also called Schiff's base. Imine formation is an example of large class of reactions called condensation reactions that joins two or more molecules, often with the loss of small molecules such as water or an alcohol. The mechanism of formation of imine begins with an acid catalyzed nucleophilic addition of imine to the carbonyl group, attack by the amine, followed by the deprotonation of nitrogen atom gives the unstable intermediate, that is carbinol amine. The carbinol amine converts to imine by losing water and forming double bond, a dehydration. This dehydration follows the same mechanism as acid catalyzed dehydration of alcohol. Protonation of hydroxyl group converts it to the good leaving group and it leaves as it water. The resulting cation is stabilized by the resonance forms, including with one of all octets filled and the positive charge on the nitrogen. Loss of proton gives the imine. So there is the mechanism of formation of imines is given over here. First step is protonation of carbonyl group. Then second step is addition of amine in the intermediate, and after that deprotonation gives a carbinol amine. Then in fourth step protonation of OH group is take place over here in carbinol amine, and then protonated form is obtained over here. And when this protonated form loses the water molecule, it forms an intermediate in which all octets are filled. And after the deprotonation step, it finally gives the product imine. Similarly, we have the example of a benzaldehyde, and we are going to form the benzaldehyde methyl imine by same mechanism which is already discussed above. The proper pH is crucial to imine formation. The second half of mechanism is acid catalyzed, so the solution must be somewhat acidic. If the solution is too acidic, however, the amine becomes protonated and non-nucleophilic, inhibiting the first step. Figure 8-7 shows that the rate of imine formation is fastest as around pH 4.5. The formation equation shows some typical imine forming reactions. In each case, notice that carbonyl group of the ketone and aldehyde is replaced by C double bond NR group of imine. So there is an example, that is cyclohexanone, and when we treat it with ammonia in the presence of acidic media, it gives cyclohexanone imine. Similarly, we have cyclopentanone, and when we reacted with aniline in the presence of acidic media at the pH 4.5, then further it will convert it into cyclopentanone phenylamine. Similarly, benzaldehyde, when treated with methylamine in the presence of acidic media, then it will convert it into benzaldehyde methylamine. Imine formation is reversible, and most imines can be hydrolyzed back to amine and give the ketone or aldehyde. The principles of microscopic reversibility states the reverse reaction taking place under the same conditions should follow the same pathway but in reverse order. Therefore, the mechanism of hydrolysis of imine is simply the reverse of mechanism of its formation. There is an example given over here, that is benzaldehyde methylamine, and on in excess hydrolysis in acidic media it converted into benzaldehyde and our primary amine. Our next topic is condensation with hydroxyl amines and hydrazenes. Ketones and aldehydes also condense with other ammonia derivatives such as hydroxylamine and substituents hydrazine to give imine derivatives. The equilibrium constant for these reactions are usually more favorable than the reactions with simple amine. Hydroxylamines react with ketones and aldehyde to form oximes. Hydrazine and its derivatives react to form hydrazones, and semicarbazide reacts with to form semicarbazones. The mechanism of these reactions are similar to the mechanism of imine formation. So there are some examples given over here, that when the phenyl 2-propanone is treated with hydroxylamine, then it gives a phenyl 2-propanone oxime. Similarly, if we have benzaldehyde, and when this benzaldehyde is treated with NH2 that is hydrazine in the presence of acidic media, then it gives benzaldehyde hydrazone. Similarly, we have cyclohexanone, and when it is treated with phenylhydrazine it gives cyclohexanone phenylhydrazone. And our next example is butane 2-on, and when it is treated with semicarbazide it gives butane 2-on semicarbazone. These derivatives are useful both as a starting material for further reactions and characterization and identification of original carbonyl compound. Oximes, semicarbazones and phenylhydrazones are often solid compounds with characteristic melting points. Standard tables give the melting point of these derivatives for thousands of the different ketones and aldehyde. If an unknown compound forms one of these derivatives, the melting point can be compared with that in the table. If the compound's physical properties match those of known compound and the melting point of its oxime, semicarbazide or phenylhydrazones matches as well, we can fairly certain of the correct identification. Now we will discuss about the formation of acetals. Just as ketones and aldehydes react with water to form hydrates, they also react with alcohols to form acetals. Acetals are some of the most common organic compounds in world. Table sugar, cotton fabric and a wooden ship are composed of acetals. We cover these common carbohydrate acetals and their polymers in chapter 23. In the formation of an acetal, two molecules of alcohol add to carbonyl group and one molecule of water is eliminated. Although the hydration is catalyzed by either base or acid, acetal formation must be catalyzed. For example, consider the reaction of cyclohexanone with methanol catalyzed by para-toluene sulfonic acid. So the overall reaction is cyclohexanone, and we have two equivalents of methanol in the presence of para-toluene sulfonic acid. Then our cyclohexanone dimethyl acetal is formed over here. So this is the mechanism. First step is protonation of ketonic group, and the protonated carbonyl group is formed over here. Then in second step, alcohol molecule acts as a nucleophile and the nucleophilic attack is take place on the carbonyl carbon atom, or we can say protonated carbonyl carbon atom. Then in third step, deprotonation by methanol is take place and our hemiacetal is formed over here. And in fourth step, again protonation is take place and our protonated OH group is present over here, and after that it will becomes a good leaving group and it will lose as the water molecule and again form a carbocation, and this carbocation is resonance stabilized and it is stabilized by the lone pair of oxygen atoms. Then in sixth step, our methanol molecule again attack on that, and seventh step, deprotonation is take place and finally our acetal is formed by this mechanism. Since hydration is catalyzed by either acid or base, you might wonder why acetal formation is catalyzed only by acid. In fact, first step, formation of hemiacetal, can be base catalyzed involving the attack by alkoxide ion and protonation of alkoxide. The second step requires replacement of hemiacetal OH group by the alcohol OR group. Hydroxide ion is poor leaving group for SN2 reaction. So alkoxide cannot displace the OH group. The replacement occur mild under acidic conditions. However, because protonation of OH group and the loss of water gives a resonance stabilized cation. Equilibrium of acetal formation. Acetal formation is reversible, so the equilibrium constants control the proportion of reactants and product that will result. For simple aldehyde, the equilibrium constant generally favor the acetal product. For example, the acid catalyzed reaction of acetaldehyde with ethanol give a good yield of acetal. With hindered aldehyde and with most ketones, the equilibrium constant favor the carbonyl compound rather than the acetal. To enhance these reactions, the alcohol often used as solvent to assure a large excess. The water is formed as a byproduct is removed by distillation to force equilibrium towards the right. Conversely, more acetals are hydrolyzed simply by shaking them with dilute acid in water. The large excess of water derives the equilibrium towards the ketone or aldehyde. The mechanism is simply the reverse of acetal formation. For example, cyclohexanone dimethyl acetal is quantitatively hydrolyzed to cyclohexanone by brief treatment with dilute aqueous acids. Cyclic acetals. Formation of acetal using a diol as the alcohol gives a cyclic acetal. Cyclic acetals often have more favorable equilibrium constant since there is a smaller entropy loss when two molecules, a ketone and a diol, condenses than when three molecules, a ketone and two molecules of an alcohol condenses. Ethylene glycol is often used as to make cyclic acetals. Its acetals are called ethylene acetals or ethylene ketols. So there is an example given over here. When benzaldehyde is treated with ethylene glycol, then our benzaldehyde ethylene acetal is formed over here. Carbohydrates. Sugars and other carbohydrates most commonly exist as cyclic acetals or hemiacetals. For example, glucose is a 6-carbon sugar that is most stable as hemiacetal. Lactose is a disaccharide composed with 2 sugar unit, has 1 acetal and 1 hemiacetal. We discussed the structure of carbohydrates in detail in chapter 23. Use of acetals as protecting group. Acetals hydrolyze under acidic conditions, but they are stable to strong bases and nucleophiles. Acetals are easily made from corresponding ketones and aldehydes and easily converted back to parent carbonyl compounds. This easy interconversion makes acetals attractive as protecting group to prevent ketones and aldehyde from reacting with strong bases and nucleophiles. We first encountered protecting groups in section 14-10 using silyl ethers to protect alcohols. As an example, consider the following proposed synthesis. The necessary Grignard reagent could not be made because the aldehyde carbonyl group would react with its own nucleophilic organometallic group. If the aldehyde is protected as an acetal, however, it is unreactive towards Grignard reagent, the masked aldehyde is converted due to the Grignard reagent, which is allowed to react with cyclohexanone. Dilute aqueous acid both protonates the alkoxide to give alcohol and hydrolyzes the acetal to give deprotected aldehyde. So there is an actual synthesis, or we can say actual example given over here, in which a alpha bromo aldehyde is given over here, and when it is masked with ethylene glycol in acidic medium, it gives the acetal, and further when this bromine group is reacted with magnesium, it is converted into Grignard reagent. Selective acetal formation. Because aldehydes form acetals more readily than ketone, we can protect an aldehyde selectively in the presence of a ketone. The selective protection leaves the ketone available for modification under neutral or basic condition without disturbing the more reactive aldehyde group. The following example shows the reduction of ketone in presence of more reactive aldehyde. Oxidation of aldehydes. Unlike ketones, aldehydes are easily oxidized to carboxylic acids by common oxidants such as bleach, that is sodium hypochlorite, chromic acid, permanganates, peroxy acids. Aldehydes are oxidized so easily that their air must be excluded from their container to avoid slow oxidation by atmospheric oxygen. Because aldehydes oxidize so easily, mild reagents such as Ag2O can oxidize them selectively in the presence of other oxidizable functional groups. So there is an example, that is isobutyl aldehyde, and when this isobutyl aldehyde is treated with sodium dichromate in the presence of H2SO4, it gives isobutyric acid with 90% yield. Similarly, we have an aldehyde, cyclic aldehyde. When it is treated with Ag2O in the presence of THF, then it gives 97% yield of carboxylic acid. The silver ion, that is Ag plus ion, oxidizes aldehyde selectively in convenient functional group tests for aldehyde. The Tollens test involves adding a solution of silver ammonia complex, that is Tollens reagent, to the unknown compound. If an aldehyde is present, its oxidation reduces silver ion to metallic silver in the form of black suspension or silver mirror deposit on the inside the container. Simply hydrocarbons, esters, ethers, ketones, and even alcohol do not react with Tollens reagent. So there is reaction given over here in which the aldehyde is treated with Tollens reagent, that is Ag positive NH3 whole twice, and in the presence of alkaline media, then our blackish PPT, or the silver mirror is formed in the reaction mixture, and our aldehyde is converted into carboxylate anion. The reaction of aldehydes and ketones. Hydride reductions. Ketones and aldehydes are most commonly reduced by sodium borohydride. Sodium borohydride reduces ketone to secondary alcohol and aldehydes to primary alcohol. Lithium aluminium hydride also accomplishes these reductions, but it is a more powerful reducing agent. It is much difficult to work with. Sodium borohydride is preferred for simple reductions of ketones and aldehydes. Sodium triacetoxyborohydride is less reactive than sodium borohydride, and it selectively reduces aldehyde even in presence of ketone. So this is our sodium borohydride, and there is an example given over here in which cyclohexane carbaldehyde is treated with sodium borohydride in ethanol media, then it converted into cyclohexyl methanol with 95% yield. Similarly, we have butane 2-on when it is treated with sodium borohydride in the presence of methanol, then our butane 2-ol is formed with 100% yield. Catalytical hydrogenation, like alkene double bonds, carbonyl double bonds are can be reduced by catalytical hydrogenation. Catalytical hydrogenation is slower with carbonyl group than with olefinic double bonds. However, before sodium borohydride was available, catalytical hydrogenation was often used to reduce aldehyde and ketone, but any olefinic double bonds were reduced as well. In laboratory, we prefer sodium borohydride over catalytical reduction because it reduces ketones and aldehyde faster than olefins, and though no gas handling equipment is required, catalytic hydrogenation is still widely used in industry. However, because H2 is much cheaper than sodium borohydride and the pressure equipment is more readily available there, the most common catalyst for catalytical hydrogenation of ketones and aldehyde is Raney-nickel. Raney-nickel is a finely divided hydrogen-bearing form of nickel made by treating nickel aluminium alloy with strong sodium hydroxide solution. The aluminium in alloy reacts to form hydrogen, leaving behind a finely divided nickel powder saturated with hydrogen. Platinum and rhodium catalysts are also used for hydrogenation of ketones and aldehyde. Deoxygenation of ketones and aldehyde. A deoxygenation replaces the carbonyl oxygen atom of ketone or aldehyde with two hydrogen atoms, reducing the carbonyl group past alcohol stage all way to a methylene group. Formally, a deoxygenation is a 4-electron reduction, as shown by the following equations. These equations are used H2 to symbolize the actual reducing agents. According to general principle that one molecule of hydrogen corresponds to a 2-electron reduction, forming a deoxygenation requires 2 molecules of a hydrogen corresponding to a 4-electron reduction. In actual use, hydrogen is not good reagent for deoxygenation of ketone and aldehydes. Deoxygenation can be accomplished by either by the Clemenson's reduction under acidic condition and Wolff-Kishner reductions under basic conditions. Clemenson reduction. The Clemenson reduction commonly converts the acyl benzenes from Friedel-Crafts acylation to alkyl benzenes, but it also works with other ketones and aldehyde that are not sensitive to acid. The carbonyl compound is heated with an excess of amalgamated zinc treated with mercury and hydrochloric acid. The actual reduction occurs by a complex mechanism on the surface of the zinc. So there are some examples given over here, that is propienophenone when we treated with the zinc zinc amalgam in the presence of concentrated HCl or the HCl, then our N-propyl benzene is the major product with 90% yield. Similarly, we have heptanol, and when it is treated with zinc amalgam in the presence of HCl, it converted into N-heptane. Similarly, we have cyclohexane, and when it is treated with zinc Hg in the presence of HCl, it converted into cyclohexane with 75% yield. Wolff-Kishner reduction. Compounds that cannot survive treatment with hot acid can be deoxygenated using the Wolff-Kishner reduction. The ketone or aldehyde is converted into its hydrazones, which is heated with strong base such as KOH, that is potassium hydroxide, potassium tertiary butoxide, ethylene glycol, diethylene glycol, or another high boiling solvent is used to facilitate the high temperature, that is 140 to 200 degrees Celsius needed in second step. So there is some examples, that is propienophenone firstly reacted with hydrazine to convert it into our product hydrazones. When these hydrazones are react with, or we can say heated with potassium hydroxide in the presence of diethylene glycol, at the temperature 175 degrees Celsius, then our N-propyl benzene with 82% yield is obtained over here. Similarly, the cyclohexane firstly treated with NH2, N2H4, that is our hydrazine. Then it firstly converted into hydrazone, and when we use tertiary butoxide, potassium tertiary butoxide, in the presence of solvent DMSO, and we heat it, then our product is cyclohexane. Then our product cyclohexane 80% yield is obtained over here. The mechanism for formation of hydrazones is the same as the mechanism for imine formation. The actual reduction step involves two tautomatic protons transfer from nitrogen to carbon. In this strongly basic solution, we expect a proton transfer from N to carbon and to C to occur by loss of proton from nitrogen followed by reprotonation on carbon. A second deprotonation setups intermediate for loss of nitrogen to form carbon ion. This carbon ion is quickly reprotonated to give the product. So there is the simple mechanism is given over here. Firstly, we form the hydrazones of a given aldehyde or ketone. Then these hydrazones are react with OH minus in basic medium. Basically, proton transfer from nitrogen to carbon is take place in basic medium. Then in second step, remove second proton from the nitrogen, and then in third step, N2 gas is lost over here, and in fourth step, protonation is take place, and our final product, that are alkanes, is formed over here. So there are some questions and examples given over here regarding the topic Clemenson's and Wolff-Kishner reductions. So this is the complete chapter of aldehydes and ketones from the book Organic Chemistry by L.G. Waite. And there are some major questions which are given over here. We can solve it by using simple concepts.